This is my Hatchhyack Gogeta Xeno burn deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Prismatic Burst. 4 Mirror Clear Absorb. 4 Vegeta Reluctant Reinforcements. 4 Deadly Defender Goku. 4 Black Mass Saiyan Splintering Minds. 4 Full Mission Accomplished. 4 Oceanus Shenron. 4 Dr. Legend the Departed Spirit. 4 Goku Making an Interest. 4 Further Destruction Champa. 4 Supreme Kai. 4 Power Burst. 4 Instant Transmission Sentai Kamehameha. 4 Toa Dark Demon Realm Scientist. 4 Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Supreme Saiyan Power Medicine. So the burn effects of the deck is from Gogeta, obviously, and then Splintering Mind and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta Supreme Saiyan Power Medicine. So those are our main burn effects. We also have the Mirror Champa combo in here as well as a win con. This deck, obviously I added more red by adding the Champa, so we have more red cards for the effect of Gogeta. So we have 8 red sources, and then of course, Mirror Clear Absorb to go with the double strikes. So use as a win con, and slim down the defensive aspect of the deck because there was a Gotenks 3-drop Gotenks counterattack blocker card. Decent card, but it wasn't that necessary because I'd rather play Oceanus more than that card. So that card was just extra. Good card nonetheless. Just wasn't necessary to have it. I want something to help deal more damage. So Mirror Clear Absorb was obviously a really good choice for that to deal more damage. So this deck is more streamlined. Alright, Dr. Legend, Hatchhyack. Permanent, you can only play black battle cards in your battle area, and this card can't attack. Auto, when a battle card attacks, the player who attacked can't attack with tokens or battle cards with energy cost 7 or less other than the card they attacked with. The duration of turns. This applies to both players. Active main, once per turn, place the top card of your deck under this card, then place the top card of your deck to the drop area, and then draw the card. To awaken, if you only have black cards in your energy area, choose 3 cards under this card, place into the drop area, draw a card, and flip this card over, so you can awaken on turn 3. Permanent, you can only play black battle cards in your battle area. Auto, when a battle card attacks, and the player who attacked can't attack with tokens or battle cards with energy cost 7 or less, other than the card they attacked with for the duration of the turn. Second auto, when this card attacks, it gets 5k power for the duration of the turn, and you draw a card. So it's a 20k when it swings. So that's always good. You don't have to combo to make it strong to apply pressure, just automatically applies pressure on your opponent. Because it forces your opponent to have to use 10k combo power just to out combo this if they're awakened. 15k combo power if they're not awakened yet. And then, you're drawing a card. You get to keep that card because you're not going to use it to combo. So that's always good. That makes up for the fact that every turn you draw a card, you charge a card for energy. That is drawing a card always mitigates that issue. Giving up the card just for energy. Then we have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta Prismatic Burst, 35k with quadruple strike. So he's a win con. Use him as a finisher. Auto, when this card is played, resolve the following effects based off of the color of the cards in your energy area. If you have red energy, deal 1 damage to your opponent, which gives us burn. If we had blue, we would have been able to draw 3 cards, but we don't. If we had green energy, your opponent would have chosen 2 cards from the hands and discard them, but we don't. If we had yellow energy, we would have been able to choose one of our opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. But we don't. We do have black energy, so choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards and send them to the owner's warp. So this can help us get rid of any blockers or any problematic battle cards that we don't want our opponents to have. because we definitely want to reduce their attacks to less than 3 attacks per turn, so it'd be easier to defend against. And definitely want to burn our opponent, get our opponent closer to losing, which is always the goal. Active main, pay 5 energy, choose one Goku Jr. card, Goku Xeno card, and one Vegeta Xeno card in your hand and or battle area, and place them into the drop area, and then play this card. So the targets for that is Vegeta Reluctant Reinforcements and Deadly Defender Goku. Making Entry Goku is also a Goku Xeno, so it can be used instead of a Deadly Defender if need be. But Reluctant Vegeta is the only Vegeta Xeno in the deck, because Black Mask Sane Splintering Minds is not a Vegeta Xeno. So keep that in mind. So we have a way to cheat out this 10 drop 5 energy. It is a 10 drop, so you can't attack with it, even if you already attack with something else. Because of the leader's effect prevents you from attacking with anything 7 or less. So keep that in mind. We have Mirror Creator Absorbed. Overwhelm 4. You need 4 or more cards in your drop in order to warp your drop area to play this for 1 energy as deflect. So it's immune to counterplays, like Godzilla's Trunks, for example. Second auto, when this card attacks, this card gets 5k power for the duration of the turn for each card in your warp. So since the minimum to play this is 4 cards in your drop, that right there is 20k power to his attack. So it'll be a 50k just with 4 cards in the warp. And then you throw in a attack, you throw in a chop or Sipping Kai, you can get up to 60k double strike. And in order for your opponent to out-combo that, they would need 50 combo power. So let's say your opponent has 6 cards in their hands. They would need 4 super combos or 10k combo and 2 5ks. That way it'd be a total of 50 combo power to add to the leader while it's awakened. So it'd be 65k to out combo. Of course, you always want to attack when your opponent's tapped out, so that way they couldn't tap in energy to play a 10k combo. A card that has 10k combo, it requires an energy. You always want to make it where in order for them to get 10k, they have to use either 2 0-cost 5ks to get 10k combo power, or they have to use a super combo. So you always want to keep that in mind. You always want your opponent to have less than 6 cards in their hand, especially if they're going to be swinging with something that's 60k power or above. Combo math. Made a video about that before. Check it out on the channel. Vegeta Reluctant Reinforcements, 20k with barrier. It's important to have stuff with barrier because your opponent could have cards that can KO your battle cards during your attacks. You want to have something like that, or they might have effects that can minus the power of your battle cards, and they might need to minus the power of your battle cards to get some effects. You don't want them to, right? You don't want to help them play their deck. You want to make it hard for them to play their deck. So just like Cooler Mill requires the ability to reduce the power of battle cards in order to get the mill effects off. So you want to prevent that by playing battle cards that have barrier and unisons and leaders. You want to focus on those cards against that deck because you don't want to help that deck mill you out. Plus, this is a 60 card deck, so this is already built anti-mill already. Already, it's going to make it hard for a mill deck to mill you out because you have a 60 card deck. So you have to work extra hard. Plus, you have this. Since our leader is not a Black Sane, we don't get the auto, but we get the active main. Pay 1 energy. Place this card into the owner's drop area. Choose 1 black battle card with 19k power from your drop area and play. So target for that is Splintering Mind Black Mask Sane. And of course we get to get his auto to warp a battle card and swing and burn our opponent for this. So synergy there. This costs 3 to play, 1 to activate its effect, so a total 4 energy in order to use this to bring back Same from the drop. So it's almost like having an extra copy of Splintering Mind. And it's the fact that you can use them together because you play this for 3, swing with it, pay 1, send it to drop, bring this back, get this thing's auto, swing with this, get this thing's auto to burn your opponent for 1. And it's a 19k buy, so that's another attack, so that's potential 3 damage just with that, just for 4 energy. So for 4 energy, you can have, you could do potentially 3 damage, so I love that synergy. Oh no, I keep forgetting, keep forgetting an important detail. Oh god, I hate that. No, because if you attack with this, your leader's effect will activate, so you can't do this. I hate that, I keep forgetting that small detail. So what you're actually going to be doing is play this for 3, pay 1, send it to the drop, bring back Black Mass Same, and then attack with Black Mass Same, because if you attack with this first, then you can't attack with that, right? Because of your leader, that's the only reason why. So you're really only going to use this to bring this back. Keep forgetting about that. In any other deck, this, you'll be able to get these 2, you'll be able to get 3 attacks, but with this leader, you can't get 3 out of it. But, it's just, Vegeta Xeno, so it goes with the Gogeta. It has the ability to bring back Vegeta from the drop, so that way you can use Vegeta to burn your opponent, so synergy there. Plus, it has barriers, so it has other uses. So it's a really good card. Deadly Defender Goku, a 20k barrier, same thing, barrier for protection. Very useful against a lot of decks. And then permanent during your opponent's turn, if your leader card is black, which it is, and this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader card, and this card gets minus 5k power. So it's a 15k with barrier on your opponent's turn. And of course, your opponent has to try to get rid of this in order to attack your leader. So as long as you can protect this and keep this out, you're able to absorb attacks that would have tried to go to your leader. So your opponent will waste resources just to try to get rid of this, which is good, because that means they're not using it to deal you damage, so you stay in the game longer. So he's both a sword and a shield, so we gotta love that. Then we got Black Mass Sane, Splintering Mind. Auto, when you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp, so this can get rid of any problematic battle card, regardless of cost. It can also get rid of a token, especially if the token has blocker, so it's useful to do that. And second auto, Sparking 7, we have 7 or more cards in your drop area. When this card attacks, if your leader card is black, which it is, choose 2 cards from your life, send it to the warp, and then choose 1 life from your opponent, send it to the warp, so that's how you'll burn your opponent with this. So you could potentially do 2 damage, 1 from this effect and 1 from it attacking. And if you can, throw a chomp on top of it, you could do 2 extra damage. So you could potentially do 3 damage. That we have full mission accomplished. Active main, pay 2. Move this card from your drop area from the game, not to your warp, but from the game period. And then choose up to 1 black battle card with energy cost 7 or less in your warp board drop area and add it to your hand. All the battle cards in the deck are 7 or less, except for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Obviously, in your opening hand, in your mulligan, wanna keep 1 copy of Gogeta, just it's your win con. I keep at least 1 copy of him, and so at least 1 of the red energy sources to go with him. Everything else, you'll get later on in the match. But you definitely want to start off holding on to 1 of these, since you won't be able to easily access it through any other drop or anything. So you definitely want to start off with 1. Same goes for your unisons. You want to hold on to them as well, because they're win cons. But Peer Absorb doesn't matter. You can let him get milled and whatnot. So whenever you get him, you use him. Then we have Oceanus Shenron. Blocker, counter attack. Choose 1 card from your hand, discard it, negate an attack, and play this card. If you played a card Your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they place the top 4 cards of their deck into the drop area this turn. Since it says played, past tense, that means you're going to have to play something before you play this. So, for example, you can play Goku making an entrance to negate an attack, and then play this to negate another attack, and you'll be able to have the auto ready to roll. So if your opponent tries to do some attacks, so I have to mill 4 cards for each attack. And this is a blocker, so you still get an extra ability to stop an attack. So you just with these 2 cards alone, 3 energy and discarding a card, you can stop 3 plus attacks. So yeah, I love that. So there's synergy with those 2. This has a permanent where it costs 3 less on your opponent's turn, so it will only cost 2 to play this. Opponent's turn. Dr. Leche, the Departed Spirits. It's a blocker. Auto, when you play this card, place the top 2 card of your deck to the drop. That is mandatory, not optional. And active main, pay 2. Deleted card is a Black Machine Mutant card. Play this card from your drop area. So it's a way to, it's a reusable blocker. You keep bringing it back from the drop just by paying 2. A pro tip: play this at the end before you end your turn, but not before you declare attacks. You don't want to, because it doesn't have barrier and stuff, so you don't want to end up in a scenario where you attack and your opponent, KOs this with a card effect, or uses like some also super combo and puts this in rest mode. I've had that happen a couple times, so lesson learned. Declare out, do all your attacks first, and then after that, put up your defense wall, and then end your turn. So play him last. Just a lesson learned. Alright. Also, you typically just want to play one at a time. You don't want to overdo and play more than one unless you really, really need to. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you might deck yourself out. So keep that in mind. I usually only play one at a time. You only need to stop 3 attacks. Leader swing, unison swing, and at least 1 battle card swing. So just need to be able to block at least up to 3. The best you can do is block 2. That's cool. Just block the 2 most problematic attacks and just take 1 hit. Because it's okay to take 1 hit a turn. Take 1 damage a turn, which is better than taking 2-3 damage a turn. Right? You always want to take the least amount of damage. 1 or 0 is always preferred. Mention Goku make an entrance, counterattack, negate an attack, and play this card. It's a 5k body, so you can use it to attack. You give it a Champa, for example, and make it a 15k double strike, so you could use it to go aggro, go in on your opponent real quick. So it's a good, turn 1 play, for example, where you can just negate an attack turn 1, then turn 2, swing in, double strike, and get some early game damage. You always want to try to do some damage in the first 2 turns, because after turn 3, it gets harder to do damage, because your opponent can afford, to make plays and to negate, or at least to play multiple negates. Just gotta keep that in mind. After turn 2, dealing damage gets harder. It has 0 combo power, so keep that in mind as well. But sometimes you do want to combo with it, even if it doesn't give combo power, because you want it in the drop. So, like if, for example, obviously if this isn't in your battle area, you combo it just to get it into the drop, and then bring it back to your hand with power burst. You can obviously use it to negate attacks. So the synergy there. It is a Goku Xeno, so it being on the field is good because you can just use it from the field to help you make, to play out your Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It's active main. We have Champa, combo it for 1 energy, get 10k combo power and double strike. E-Supreme card, the same thing, but the double strike is optional, and they're red source for the effect of Gogeta. Yeah, after the first 3 turns, you want to charge black energy, but on turn 4 and above, you can charge at least 1 red energy for Gogeta's burn effect. So keep that in mind. Obviously, E-Supreme Kai Champa works really good with Mirror Creative Absorb. to make a really strong attacker and a really strong point tall finisher. Then we have Power Burst, Counter Attack. If your leader card is black, which it is, negate the attack. Then choose one black battle card with energy cost of 1 from your drop area or warp and add it to your hand. The target for that is making an entrance Goku. Permanent, Sparking 5. If you have 5 or more cards in your drop area, you can take a card from your life, add it to your hand, and play this card for free. You can play this multiple times if you have multiple copies and can take multiple life to play it. So that's always good. And of course, it has synergy with making entrance Goku, and Goku negates an attack. So you can get just by playing this. Like you can have, let's say you have 1 energy, but you have 5 cards in your drop, and Goku make an entrance just so happens to be one of the 5 cards. Obviously, play this, take a life, play this, negate an attack, add this back to your hand, and then if you need to negate another attack, since you kept 1 energy up, you can use that 1 energy for Goku. So it's like basic synergy right there for that. Another thing you can do, per se, it's not that great, but you can tap an energy to play, make an entrance Goku to negate an attack, right? Get it onto the field, combo it off. If your opponent attacks your leader or something, combo it off, and then let's say you're tapped out, use this to do the sparking effect to negate an attack. But the reason you combo it off, obviously, so you can have 5 to play this for free to do the sparking, but then get it back so you could use it later on. So that could be something you could do if you're in that type of situation. So keep stuff like that in mind. Certain plays like that, like playing things in a different order, makes a difference depending on the situation. Instant transmission 10-time Kamehameha. This is our reusable gate. Counter attack, negate an attack. Place up to 2 black battle cards from your warp and place into your drop area. Active main, pay 1 black energy. Choose 2 cards in your hand, send them to the warp. Add this card from your drop to your hand. So obviously we can reuse it over and over again. And the best things to warp for this active main is battle cards. Any battle cards you have no problem having in drop, like Dr. Leche, Full Mission Accomplished, Black Mass Sing, Splintering Minds. I don't have a problem with these being in the drop because you can always get them. You can always use them for drop, always get them back, type stuff. So it's a thing. Definitely want to make sure you always have one of these, especially if you overwhelm with Full Mission Accomplished. Because you'll play them, right? Because you're overwhelmed. And then you want to use this to get those cards in your drop. In your warp back into your drop. Especially if it's a Dr. Leche that was warped or something like that. Typically, you want to make sure you don't warp him. You want one of him on the field at least before you overwhelm. Definitely want at least 1 instant transmission Kamehameha in your hand before you overwhelm. Just some basic tips on how to play these cards. That's what I do. Toa, the Dark Demon Scientist, Unison. Permanent, this card can't attack if it has 2 or less markers. So you need 3 or more in order for it to attack. And it's a 20k body. Auto, once per turn when one of your opponent's battle cards is removed from the battle area by a skill or KO, add a marker to this. And this can happen once per turn during the player's turn. As the +0 active main ability, choose 1 card from your hand, discard it. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, and send it to the warp and draw. And send it to the warp. And this does trigger the auto, so you will get a marker by doing this. So this is good to get rid of any problematic card, obviously like a blocker or something, or just an attacker that you don't want your opponent to have to attack you with. Plus, just getting markers on this 20k body is always good. And the fact that once it has 3 or more markers, you can start swinging with it. So nice 20k body you can take advantage of. And it has the -4 active main ability. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and gain control of it. So it's a good card to steal somebody, to steal your opponent's finisher and finish them with their own finisher, or you can use this to grab a blocker. I tend to do that a lot. Grab a blocker and take advantage of it. Any battle card that has a really good effect, like an active main or something, or a continuous effect, like a permanent effect that gives your opponent an advantage, you can literally take that advantage away and make it your advantage. So it's always nice to have this card here. Such a great card. She's awesome. Then we have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Supreme Saiyan Power. As the auto once per turn, if your leader card is black, which it is, when your opponent plays a battle card using a non-keyword skill, they choose one card from the hand and discard it. So in other words, no overwhelm, no union, absorb, that kind of stuff. Infusion. It's when they play stuff from counter attacks. Like when you play stuff like this could be played from counter attack. This as an active main could be played from the drop. So this, can't counterattack. This is an active main that plays this, so get the idea. So stuff like that, skills that aren't keywords skills trigger this effect. So that's a nice floodgate. But we only really use this for its -5 ability, where you -5 markers, pay 4 black energy, and send 1 card from one's life to the corp. So burn, right? The earliest you can play this, in one turn, for example, is by having 2 copies of this and play it on turn 8, which is not hard to get to turn 8, because you'll get to turn 8, pay 4 energy to play this for 4, so it has 4 markers, attach the second copy of it to itself, so it gets a marker, so it has 5 markers, then -5 markers off of it, and pay 4 black energy to warp its life. So 2 copies of this in turn 8, you burn your opponent for 1, essentially. So that's something you can do. This deck can easily get to turn 8, 6, 7, and 8. Because like I said, you only have to stop 3 attacks per turn on average. A leader swing, unison swing, and a battle card swing. You gotta keep that in mind. You just want to try to stop that at least a minimum of 3 attacks. Always be prepared to try to stop more than 3 attacks, but at least a minimum of 3 attacks a turn to stop. Sometimes the best you can do is stop 2 attacks, so stop the 2 worst attacks, and take that 1 hit. You're always okay with taking 1 or less damage. Is always preferred. It's always preferred to take 1 or less, 1 or 0 damage a turn. That's the end of the video.